Here's my tweet. Retiring because rehabbing is too hard is the most millennial thing ever.
In his prime at age 29.
I am going to retire. This is not an easy decision.
I do think by now I've been doing this long enough that there are plenty of people, my friends especially in the business and listeners and viewers or whatever, that understand I'm a smartass.
Luck says he can no longer take the pain from years of rehab after a litany of injuries, including torn cartilage in 2 ribs and a torn abdomen, lacerated kidney, and concussion.
And if I can't find something funny with the things in life, then you know what? Strike me down.
I see out is to no longer play football.
And while it was snarkasm and sarcasm and tongue-in-cheek, the fact is that I think we can also admit this is kind of part of whether it's the millennial generation or the new generation in sports.
Okay, so after getting destroyed, Doug Gottlieb then doubled down in pure douchebaggery form.
No, he's not a typical millennial. He does not have a perfectly coiffed beard. Nor does he go tight on the sides. He doesn't roll up his pants.
He claims we don't understand sarcasm, then claims that his sarcasm is actually well-founded. And in the process, he's not only bashing Andrew Luck, he's bashing Rob Gronkowski.
I needed to recover. I was not in a good place. Football was bringing me down.
Patrick Willis.
I truly felt and knew that it was time for me.
Chris Borland.
Borland announced his retirement from the San Francisco 49ers over concerns about the long-term effects of head trauma.
Calvin Johnson.
I decided to retire based off of the way my body felt, the way I felt mentally.
Essentially, Gottlieb is a Colts fan booing Andrew Luck. Chris Long told the Washington Post, I think most people don't have the guts. Lots of players fantasize about walking away. Most get walked away. But here's Gottlieb, who once said,
Me, I'm just here to bring diversity to this set here, give the kind of white man's perspective on things from the point guard position. No.
Cannot relate to, say, Martellus Bennett, who went on Twitter and said, football doesn't care about players. Players are starting to realize that more and more, the game gets what it needs from you, then moves on. Now that players are getting what they need from the game and moving on, it's fucking up the ecosystem. Bennett retired and now runs his own successful creative agency.
He does not have a perfectly coiffed beard.
This is who Fox Sports employs, and it's called pandering. According to NMS, their age demographic that they are heavily viewing to and have heavy viewership in is the over 50. Connect the dots.
But there are characteristics of millennials that people are latching onto, and me making fun of those characteristics of millennials, which are real legit things, is I think what brought a lot of this backlash.
Gottlieb doubles down continuously, consistently, and continues also to go back and forth between sarcasm and not sarcasm. And well, I said it and I was being funny, you guys just don't understand humor. And then generalizing the entire millennial age demographic when studies have continuously disproven every single point, similar to Simon Sinek. But here's the best part of it all.
To others in the media or in sports, if you want to go to me stealing credit cards 23 years ago, you're going to have to deal with the fact that those questions have been asked, that has been answered, we've all moved on.
Yeah, just because you moved on, Doug, does not force us or imply that we should. It's clearly a soft spot for Doug. Going back to 1996 when he stole credit cards from students who lived in the same dorm, made almost $1,000 in purchases, charged with felony theft and faced a potential 3-year prison term. Also, he stole textbooks to sell back to the bookstores. He admittedly plagiarized and cheated on tests. So when Torrey Smith goes on Twitter and says, you stole credit cards because working was too hard, it's just gonna follow you, man. It's like Brett Stevens saying, you know what, I'm really sick and tired. That's in the past. We need to move forward. No, you don't decide that. That is not within your control. It's in our control. And the more that you say, hey, we really need to move on, and I moved on, you should. We don't have to. And we're not going to, you dumbass.
These are all new ideas. Right? It's the generation me.
Again, losing us. I guess Luck's decision in generation me doesn't really go back to Barry Sanders or Earl Campbell or any of the other greats that retired before they were, what, 30? Essentially, Doug is telling players to
shut up and dribble.
The average NFL career, 3.3 years. 3.3. So Doug wants you to play it out, let it ride, not take advantage of the system of no guaranteed contracts where one hit can be your last when the lights go out, because you should be thankful for the opportunity.
Well, I mean, all these kids in college transferring, you don't think that's the search for success and the willingness to go elsewhere? Nobody wants to sit. Why? Nobody wants to redshirt. Nobody wants to back anybody up, because that's not fun. The fun is in actually playing and winning and producing, and then ultimately they want to get paid.
You stole credit cards to get paid.
They want to get paid in college.
You stole credit cards to get paid.
You go, Andrew Luck. You go explore the world. You go find yourself. You don't need football. And that's a departure from what our values always were about football players being special.
What values? What values? It's just so interesting to me. The shock jockism is slowly dying. And Doug Gottlieb is on the sinking ship.